Welcome to the Gear Slum, your one-stop shop for all things guitar culture nonsense. I'm Aaron.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Cole.
We slum it hard so you don't have to.
Today, Aaron sounds extra annoyed at the world.
Today's a good day, though. Today is the day that we're all heading to.
We are in NAMM
2019. We're not
Yes.
in it yet.
Oh, you're right. Most of you are listening to this while I am yelling at students.
Yeah, some of you are listening to this while we're all still asleep.
That's
And
true.
Some of you might be listening to this like 8 months in the future.
Well, that's true too. But
What if someone's listening to this on the first day of NAMM 2020?
Whoa.
dude,
Or 2018?
I actually now I kind of want to listen
They already
to
listened
both
to this
of our
last year.
previous NAMM episodes.
No, don't. You really don't.
I don't. Yes, I
We
do.
should just upload our previous NAMM episode so we don't have to record this one.
Yeah, this will just be a bumper. We'll just put in the other
You're
episode.
right.
So for this special episode, what we decided to do
Things
is
are
just
looking pretty good for
replay-
that Shno-ball volume pedal. Looking forward to see what the future holds for that.
Oh man, I'm excited to see what happens with that booth now. Like we have to visit that booth.
We have to go there. We have to take pictures there.
We got to talk about that. We got to talk about what the whole saga that happened with that too.
That is definitely
We can't-
nonsense.
It can't be like mean-spirited though. Because
No.
on
I
one
genuinely-
hand,
he
like
seems
it
a
was
really
dumb.
nice guy.
Yeah, but like he's not. I don't know.
He didn't do anything malicious or anything.
No,
He's
not
like,
by any
Vertex
means.
Or something.
And obviously, like, if, from a moral standpoint, if you're, like, I don't know, I'm more worried about an individual with a YouTube channel than I am some big corporation or whatever.
Yeah, that's totally true.
Right.
Because freaking Ernie Ball is like, I mean, I'm not sure how you would order, like, who is the top of the top, but they're way, way, way up there.
Yeah, they're big for sure. Like, just
Gibson,
their strings
Fender,
alone.
right? It's like PV, Yamaha, I don't know.
Mua. Oh, that's the other thing. That was pretty wild that they just, like, straight up
The pirate thing.
the piracy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know what? They didn't get a cease and desisty, right?
Well, they got a lawsuit with lots of money that they have to pay.
What?
So that's
Moore did?
Like 6 figures, I think. So not a ton of money, but
Wait, what?
yeah, the Chinese.
Phil, you should
court- 'cause
read.
they
you should
have-
read the internet.
You know, there are
Okay.
laws in China that you're also
I
not
thought-
allowed to break. And they
Phil,
did.
you're thinking of Thailand. That's where you usually go, where you feel like there aren't any laws.
Don't do
Yeah, so they sued them.
do that.
They sued them in Chinese court, and I don't like saying Chinese court because that sounds weird. But I mean, it's true. They sued them in court in China.
And that
In
is
their little
that
Chinese
is what
court.
it is.
It's
Is there a
their
term
little
that's
Chinese
less?
court over there.
Is there a term that's
like, how
less
do you say
offensive
that?
than Chinese?
Chinese court.
In
does have-
the courts of
It
China.
does have certain connotations.
So they sued them in China, and they won.
Uh-huh.
They got a settlement in China, and they ended up getting a 6-figure payment. That's forthcoming.
And
I'm
Does that mean that Moore can't rip off other people's ideas anymore?
Well, it means they
Well,
can't
it's not the
get
ideas.
caught
It's because they actually
without
stole their
paying.
code.
Yeah, it was like it even. Did you read the thing?
Yeah, like it
I
even
read
had
nothing.
their copyright notice in it.
Yeah, it had
It's freaking
it was like-
hilarious.
direct from them. It had
It
all
was
the
such blatant. Well, that's the thing. They might have even just stolen the chips with the code already on it, because it's not like it's not easy to just steal someone's compiled code and recompile, like decompile it, basically. So they might have.
We
even
all
just-
know that.
I mean, and I'm not even speaking from a very intelligent position on that, but that's in general, it's not easy to unless it was using some well-known, I don't know, development software or something. But but yeah, so it's pretty wild that it had like all of their copyright notice and everything in it still.
Yeah,
Man.
it's pretty crazy.
Well, and that the thing maybe that's more surprising is that they actually got a settlement against them in China, because that's why there's pretty blatant piracy that happens a lot of times
Yeah.
in China, and you just get away with it because there's not as much, there aren't as many lawsuits over there, and I don't think they police that stuff as closely.
But so I wonder if this one happened and was successful, if that means
You mean it's because of Trump, right?
there are going to be more,
Yeah.
more people saying,
No, a
okay,
moor.
there are going to be more companies.
But is it? I think it's let me give you my theory. Well, Phil, let me hear your theory first, because yours is better. mine's like a joke.
And because you were in the middle of saying it right now.
Yes, I apologize.
I'm just wondering if it will result in more people going, oh, if not Ernie Ball, if
Electro-harmonics.
oh, is that who it was?
Yes.
Well, and it was another company too, wasn't it? Or was it just 2 of Electro-harmonics pedals?
It was 2 Electro-harmonics pedals.
If they can sue,
fine.
if they can sue in a court in China and win, then other companies who are like, man, those guys are freaking stealing my ideas, but there's nothing I can do about it. Oh, wait, those guys won? Okay, well, then I'm going to sue too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm wondering.
And maybe that's
you're right.
already maybe that's already been a trend, and they're just the next.
Yeah,
but
true.
it seems like you just don't hear about that very often, and there's a lot of pretty blatant piracy. But also those pedals, it's probably been in the works for a while, because I think both of those pedals have been discontinued for a while. So they probably got a cease and
The
desist a
lower
long
ones?
time ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
And so they discontinued them, but then they sued them for damages for
Right.
ones they'd already sold or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense. Here's
So
my.
this means I
theory.
can't buy one of those Moore guys.
My theory is that it's not Moore, but more, and here's why. Because one of the pedals that was sued about, was
Shoot about.
called the Morgan. Why would it be called the Morgan? That doesn't make sense. The Morgan.
But then they'd get sued by Morgan Amps.
No, they wouldn't. Because that's
For
not
the
a thing.
name.
Because it's not in the same.
Like, you'd
world.
think that Electric Harmonics would be like, okay, like, we got to give them this one because maybe they completely stole our code and everything, but their name works better for that pedal, Like Morgan is a
What's the
funnier
what is
name.
it, the M9 or something that it was based on?
Probably, or like the C9. I can't remember. The C9
Yeah,
is
it was
the
one of
key.
those.
Yeah, one of the 9s.
There's the Mel 9. Oh no, the M9 is that
The first ones were the B9. Well, no.
what's
I
the
think the H9 is the one that it was a.
No, the H9 is the Eventide. Eventide
Hey,
H9.
Aaron, can you cut that part out?
That's what I was trying to think of. Like, what's the Eventide one? It's the H9. Anyway, that's a kind of interesting story. But the more interesting story
it's the C9.
is this. So there's this guy named Shno-ball Tone. That's not his name. His name is Roman. There's this guy named who goes by the name Shno-ball Tone, and he's pretty big. He has like 41,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Before you go on, can you explain what that name means?
No, I cannot. I have no idea.
I'm
I'm
don't
sorry,
understand.
but
Okay.
I really can't. I'm assuming it's something Romanian. What? Just Google.
Like
what
maybe it
does-
means
I don't
awesome
think
guitar
it's-
player.
I
Shno-ball
don't think
mean?
it's like HP where it has like an obvious meaning. It probably is something Romanian.
Oh, this is awesome. This is hilarious. This is really good. This is great. I love him so much more now.
What?
So Shno-ball is a Yiddish word that means a humongous nose.
Holy crap. That my respect level for him just went up orders of magnitude.
That's so good.
That's like so, like the self-awareness there is so great.
Oh man,
Oh man, because he
that
does have
there's
like a
just
very
a moment of silence.
Oh man,
That's so good.
Yikes! I
You
mean,
can't
okay.
make that up. Oh, here's really sad though. What if someone just made that up, like to make fun of him?
and he doesn't
I
know
doubt
it. No, he definitely knows it, and that's amazing.
Someone made it up on Urban.
Now I
Dictionary.
want to like give him
that's
a
really
high
good.
five at NAMM.
Did you find that on Urban Dictionary, Aaron?
I did.
Uh-oh. What else does it mean, Aaron?
That's what I was-
Because maybe it's named after one of the other things. he also has
no.
he also has like a private Snapchat channel or something like that.
But here's something weird. This definition was submitted by Shno-ball, by a person named Shno-ball. This is so weird. This is so weird.
He's like making up his own nickname.
If he's making up his own nicknames, then he went down in my book.
No,
He was
but
up,
like if he's
and now
making
he's
fun
down.
of his huge nose, it more than cancels that out, I think.
Well, okay, that's true, but I'm just saying, like, it's like, hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel, Snake. Oh, why? What does Snake mean? Oh, it's a nickname. Oh, really? Where'd you get that nickname? Oh, I just gave it to myself. You know,
Yeah, it's like
because it's cool.
yeah, everyone calls me Monster Dong. I don't know why. Just like that's what they call me.
So
The example on Urban Dictionary is pretty great. This hairy Jewish guy's nose is so huge it deserves a Shno-ball prize.
Oh my gosh, I don't think.
when I
like
said
the
when I said
direction of
great,
this.
I meant troubling.
there's a lot of layers there.
Thank you.
So Shno-ball,
Shno-ball's
Roman
a good
Shno-ball, has been has been a YouTube like pedal reviewer and amp reviewer and guitar stuff for a while. But maybe like a couple years ago, I guess, a year or so ago, he started doing this mod where
It's been a
he would
couple
take
years.
an
It's
Ernie
been a
Ball.
long time.
Yeah, maybe. He'll take an Ernie Ball volume pedal.
No, not maybe.
Okay. He'll take an Ernie Ball volume pedal. He'll put a buffer in it of his own design, I assume. And then he'll cut out a hole in the treadle and take
Step
the
one, cut a
components
hole.
from a tuner, put that tuner
Polytune
in
specifically,
there.
right?
Specifically,
It's a
yeah,
polytune. So the face of the polytune
Like a full size polytune.
is in the flat part of the volume pedal where your foot goes, up at the toe. And then he would sell them like as a modded set.
Yeah, and he had you had the option of either buying the entire thing from him, or well, maybe this wasn't an option.
Like
on
sending
the
him your
tuner one,
own.
but you could like send him your pedal and he would mod it or whatever.
I think
yeah,
you could
but
do
like,
that.
I think he would, except it's stupid expensive to send to mail a volume pedal.
It probably doesn't cost $100 though.
Well, he lives in Washington, so
I'm-
not that expensive.
Well, I know it's just like,
Yeah. No, it's
And-
like that's.
and
not
I
what
know
you're gonna
this,
choose.
and I know this because I could say this with certainty. I did it because I was an idiot, and not to him. I didn't mail it to him. I
Did you
mailed it
mail
to
that acoustic volume, the mono case, to him to get it modded?
No.
But still, if you already have a volume pedal, it's still cheaper to mail it to him than to buy
Yeah,
a new
than to
one
buy a
from
new
him.
one.
Maybe.
No, it
But,
is.
I mean,
It's not
okay,
gonna
no,
cost
okay,
you $100
Aaron.
to ship it.
So at that point, there's like no. I don't see an issue.
So what was he selling them for?
Like $350 or $300
For his modded brand new of
Yes.
each of like his product modded
Yes.
is
But
$350
he
or
wasn't
something.
pitching it as like, "Hey, I manufactured this." It was just like,
Yeah, he's like,
"This
I do
is an
this mod.
Ernie Ball VP Junior with a polytune inside
Yes.
of it. I put it together for you."
Yes.
Yeah, because he started doing them with the Dunlop mini volume too.
Yeah,
Basically.
exactly. It's the same as like, JHS and some of the
Yeah,
other
it's like anyone
guys
else modding pedals.
sell brand new modded
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
other.
that's an option, which is
Right.
smart because they probably wait till they're on sale, or maybe they get a deal buying them in bulk or something like that.
Yeah, they might even be like
A dealer,
authorized
or something.
dealer or something.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
So, oh, go ahead.
well, I'm just saying he's not the only one selling.
No, so at this
somebody
point, all
else's
he's
new
doing
things.
is like he's modding
That
something
aspect of it is not troubling
because he's
at all.
not selling the pedal as his own. He's selling his mod work and the buffer that he puts into it, which like a lot of people do that anyway.
And you
Even
could
that
debate
specifically.
like the merits of a volume pedal with a tuner in it, but and even the price, but ultimately like all those things are his choice, and if people don't like it, they won't buy it, and so that's not you know a problem.
And I assume people were buying it because of what happened next. So
I think they were pretty popular, and
Yeah, they seem to
everyone
be.
like nobody like he's the type of YouTuber. Like some guys are pretty polarizing, you know, like Chapman or McKnight, or like some people find, or like freaking Tone King.
Or who's that dude? Who's that pink dude?
Oh yeah, what's his name? The guy who looks like the G.I. Joe doll.
Yes.
Remember.
Everyone. I mean, he's not that polarizing either. Everyone just kind of doesn't like him.
he
Who's
looks
that-
like a blonde Tom Selleck.
Who's that pink dude?
We're just kidding. We're just joshing. That's our friend
I'm sorry.
Ryan
I don't mean to say he
from
looks like a
60 Cycle
blonde Tom Selleck. I mean to say he dresses like a blonde Tom Selleck.
But I
He
think,
dresses how
like,
Tom Selleck would dress if Tom Selleck were blonde.
Yes. Yes.
That makes sense. I
Yeah,
get
exactly.
that.
Like he wouldn't wear leather jackets; he'd wear Hawaiian shirts, obviously. But
He
it,
dresses like a blonde Magnum PI, really.
Oh.
like as far as I can tell, Shno-ball is like very beloved, and nobody really
Yeah.
is annoyed by him or hates him or whatever.
And
so
here's
that-
what I like about him too is he always plays a Strat through like a Vox or a Marshall, and his tone is always super bright, which I approve of. I like that
yeah, and he's
because
good.
no one
too.
else does that.
He's really good. Yes.
Yeah, he is good.
And that's like, I don't know, I think that's one thing that like people starting YouTube channels, that's like a prerequisite. I think you at least have to be good enough. Like that's one of the reasons I never liked the videos that I would make, is because I'm not very good at guitar.
Right. You just have to get good at editing. Be okay at guitar and good at editing, or just be good at guitar. And we are neither of those.
Or
things.
like a really good, but you still have to be at least, you know, somewhat.
Right,
you have
right.
to be up to a certain level.
Yeah.
You know, like Ryan, he's much better at guitar than I am, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not like Rob Chapman or Jay Leonard J or something like that. But he's
Right.
good enough, and then he's very good at editing and video production and stuff like that. You know.
Very good.
Yeah, I'd say he's very good at guitar, but he's not like amazing.
No, you said very good at video editing. I'm just wondering if you want to
He's excellent at
stand
video
by
editing.
that.
Oh my gosh.
It's a
So,
special shout
let's
out
get
from
back
one
to
of our
the-
favorite listeners.
So here's what. Does that person even know the origin of that? Do they
No.
remember? I hope they remember at some point.
Oh, I hope
and it
so
just all
bad.
comes. It
No,
all
that-
comes flooding back to their brain. Friend of the
Moving
show,
on.
enemy of Phil.
Moving on.
So a couple weeks ago, Shno-ball on Instagram teased that he was going to have something special at NAMM, at his NAMM booth, and he posted a picture that looked like the top of an Ernie Ball volume pedal, but it had a Shno-ball Tone logo. That was a teaser like 2 weeks ago. Then, like 4 days ago, at the time of recording, Ernie Ball announces they're going to release, finally, they say, a volume pedal with a tuner built into it to be available at NAMM as well.
Yeah, and it's just a teaser, right?
Yeah, it says
Like
like
it
official
says-
announcement is the 24th, which is the first day of, which is today. Not today, but release date
Then today.
Future today.
And by announcement, Aaron means it was like drawn with crayon, but it clearly looks like
No, they showed
A
like
volume
an actual
pedal.
picture and like with video and everything. But it just
The
like
funny
was a
thing
little
is,
teaser.
like, the tuner part of it looks super ghetto, which I know doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter, like, the fidelity of the screen on a tuner, but it doesn't look as good as a Polytune.
So here's how it's less good than the Shno-ball one. First of all, it's in the middle of it where the Shno-ball one, the tuner's at the toe, which I think makes it seems like it would be more visible at that point.
I agree. I think, yeah. Well, whatever. Okay. You're right.
And also it's just not as, like you said, it's not as high fidelity. And it's bigger. The tuner, the glass part, or plastic, whatever it is bigger. But it does have this thing where it like shows you with a percentage of volume that you have, I guess. Which people
That's
think
kind
is
of cool.
useless, but I think it's actually cool.
I think that's
They're
super
like,
useful.
How are you going to see that if your foot's on it? I'm like, you're not going to look at it when your foot's on it, you moron. You're going to look at it when your foot's not on it.
But how many times that'd be even more useful on a wah, because I mean that happens a lot where it's like, oh crap,
like, where am I?
My wah is turned on, and that's why my tone sounds like garbage.
Yeah. I think it'd be really cool.
Wah,
acoustic
wah
too,
did
like
I leave turned on right now?
So here's why people, I think, in
What
like,
is happening?
Wah
people
is ruining my
in
sound.
Gear Talk, Praise and Worship were complaining about that. But I think it's because they basically exclusively use volume pedals for swells. And that's not like what I would say the vast majority of people probably don't use it for that. Maybe not the vast majority, but there's a lot of people who use it for other reasons.
Yeah, they just use it for like a static volume or just for a mute, honestly. Some people just
they're like
to have
I need to be a little bit louder. I'm going to turn it up. Or I'm going to need to be a little
Some
bit
people
quieter.
use it for like
it
you can like put drives in depending on where the drive is in relation to the volume, you can use it to like intensify the
it's just like a secondary volume control, like after.
Right. I mean,
but you can still put it like after other things, if you like after your compressor or something.
Right.
Yeah. It's just another place. Like, but then you could determine how hard it hits the front of your drive or something.
I think, well, anytime anybody's like, that's so dumb because I don't use it that way, like, you're an idiot. Yeah. Like, anyone who says that is dumb because I don't do that, okay, whatever.
This is this and that is that. Little Mermaid. I agree. But Ernie Ball announces it. And so immediately, like, people in our circles are, like, asking, like, oh, I wonder, like, is Shno-ball working with them? Does he know about this? Is he getting a kickback? Did they, like, pay him for the idea? And the obvious answer is probably not.
I mean, the initial thought was, like, thinking positively, like, oh, yeah, maybe they teamed up or whatever. But the first thought was about Shno-ball because he had been doing these mods, and when you saw a volume pedal with a tuner in it, he's the first person you thought of.
It was either that or everyone was like, oh, what about the JHS seesaw? Which, guys, at this point, it's not going to happen. Just accept it.
Right. Well, and that's what I was going to say. What I think is kind of funny is whenever it was, whether it was a year or 2 years ago that Shno-ball started doing these, like, I remember people were like, oh, this is amazing. Like, I can't wait for everybody to start doing it. But, like, my guess is, well, first of all, if you're, like, physically cutting into a chunk of aluminum, you know, like, it's not practical. It's not a practical mod. It's a very labor-intensive mod.
Like, on one hand, it's too expensive because it costs so much, but on the other hand, it's not expensive enough because he can't pay himself.
Right. But like when it happened, people were like, "Oh, everybody's going to start doing this." Like, you know, sort of like doing I don't know. I'm trying to think of a
model of that. Yeah.
Well,
I'm just ripping off the idea. Mod it.
I'm trying to think of mods that like every boutique company is doing, right?
So like for a while, everybody was doing like they would put a buffer in the volume pedal. That was like a thing.
Okay, right. Right. So
like the next step in that evolution.
Oh, everybody's gonna start doing this now. It's gonna be so great. Well, no, they're not, because it's really freaking hard.
Yeah.
You know, like the idea of I was thinking about, like, okay, so if I wanted to do it myself, I would need to take, I guess, my Dremel and carve a square out of the center of.
Yeah, and if you cut wrong and make it too big, it's over.
Buy another volume pedal.
Right, right. And so, I was like, no, so that's why no one was doing it besides him, because for whatever reason, I don't know, but nobody else, it wasn't like a thing that everyone started doing. And then, JHS said, oh, we're doing a seesaw. And that's got to be a joke, right? Like,
I mean,
that
it's
was
not a joke. I'm sure it's something they wanted to do, and then it just never made sense.
but why would he publish pictures of it that
Well, it
then
was
he's
at
never
NAMM.
done?
They had like
2
a
years
physical
ago.
version of it.
Yeah, you make a prototype, but then once you get into it and realize, oh, it's going to be too expensive to manufacture. I mean, it's not the first time someone showed a prototype and then not released it.
Okay,
I think at this point JHS is kind of low level trolling everybody by like not coming out and saying it's never going to happen.
Yeah, but in 2016, like they were.
But originally, I think it was a genuine idea.
Yeah. And it looked cool. I mean, it wasn't. It looked like a Bloomery volume pedal. It wasn't like
it did,
a
yes.
VP Junior.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure they just realized it. But even at the time, it was like, oh, these are my choices. I can either get this or the Shno-ball one. And then when it wasn't coming out, everyone was like, oh, I'm just going to get the Shno-ball one because. So like obviously he had cornered the market,
Right.
Yeah. I could see
4
someone
years.
buying that if they didn't have a volume pedal or a tuner and they wanted both together. But I can't imagine someone buying it if they already like have one or the other.
But Aaron, what if my volume pedal
I guess you
and
could sell what you
tuner
have.
both break at the exact same time, and it's like, okay, time to get a
Yes,
new one?
Then you do it. Yes.
Oh,
I guess part of me thinks that this is like not. I don't know. I guess it comes from a time when I don't want to make room for this big Polytune or a TU3 or something like that,
Right.
and a volume pedal. But there's so many options for small tuners. It just seems like there's less value in it now.
Yeah,
In my mind, at
maybe.
least.
So Shno-ball's been doing it for a while, which is why it was no surprise, especially after the Ernie Ball, that he announced, maybe it was kind of a surprise, that he was now making his own production model, that he was going to start production. So he posted that he was going to take pre-orders for this new pedal that was like the production version. Yeah, like the day after the Ernie Ball announcement. That was a volume pedal with a tuner built in. But here's the weird part.
not just a volume pedal.
It looked exactly like the Ernie Ball volume pedal, and it looked exactly like the TC Electronic Polytune, which is, I kind of give that a little bit of room because I feel like maybe because he was giving pre-orders, that may have been a prototype that he mocked up using their parts. But like that the production model wouldn't look the same.
Really?
But that's just kind of like the benefit of the doubt. Like, I don't know that that's true.
I doubt that, but I know what you're saying. Like
I feel like that could be the case for the tuner, but I don't see how you could, like. Well, I guess you're right. Yeah, okay.
I think it's the other way around. I mean, I think it's a lot harder to just. Well, that's the thing. Ernie Ball's making these in house, maybe, but everyone else would just buy it from somebody, and maybe Ernie Ball doesn't make those enclosures in house, and he just got a connection with their supplier, and
yeah, that's true,
and started buying them. I don't know, and if that's the case, that seems weird that Ernie Ball would be able to cease and desist him. And well, okay.
Well,
so
I mean, it's possible that they designed it and then have someone else manufacturing it for them, and that manufacturer decided that it was okay to do that when in reality it wasn't.
Maybe.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it could still be a proprietary design.
But also one thing to keep in mind, people, like, a cease and desist is not like a final ruling or anything. Anyone can send anyone a cease and desist.
Yes.
And like, the response is always like, oh, we'll just take things down and let things play out. Or sometimes it's, well, screw you, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. But it's certainly like, the story isn't complete by any means.
Yeah, so the Shno-ball Tone volume pedal came up, and I was like, what is happening? This is crazy. It looked exactly like the Ernie Ball. It looked exactly like the Polytune.
And the timing couldn't have been
No, it was literally the next day. Yeah, there's no way. Like, he had teased it already. Apparently, someone showed me like an Instagram post from like 2 weeks ago where he had teased it. But yeah, it's definitely was, I think probably, I don't know. I would assume they were both planning on releasing
otherwise,
it.
If Ernie Ball releases a production model, he just had to do something, because otherwise every sale goes to them, basically, unless you're just a fan of Shno-ball.
My assumption is probably they were both planning on releasing it at NAMM, and then when Ernie Ball saw his teaser, they're like, we have to release a teaser to get out before him. And then when he saw that, then he released his as like pre-order thing.
Oh,
That's what
maybe
it seems like.
yeah.
I mean, Ernie Ball may not even know he's... Well, I mean, they obviously know he's on the radar because what happened next is the day after that, the next day, I went to look on it to like check it out, and I clicked on the link, and it was gone. All traces of it had been wiped off of his social media. They'd all been wiped off of his for sale website. It was all gone. Shno-ball.
It's as if it never existed.
Yes, it is sad. But he still, apparently, he still has a NAMM booth. So I'm very curious to see what he's going to do. Someone said he should just, I think it was Tim Balance, said he should just have a framed picture of the cease and desist letter in his booth.
That would be so baller. Somebody,
So-
I'm trying to find where that thread was because he posted. There was like some comments on. Oh, I guess it was in the
So
Gear
I
Slum.
posted about it in the Gear Slum, and I posted about it in 60 Cycle Hum, and I think he is in 60 Cycle Hum and maybe was involved in that comment thread. I don't think he's in
Well,
the
no,
Gear Slum group.
somebody posted. It was just like Instagram. It was just Instagram comments that he was making.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go track it down
Because I know
it's
someone
interesting.
tagged
Somebody-
him in the
basically
post
like
in 60 Cycle Hum.
probably some IP attorney was like, "Hey, let me know if you need help or whatever." And he said, "Oh yeah, I'll definitely reach out to you." So it sounds
Was it
like
Clint Duke?
no. It's probably some
He's the only-
like
he's the only IP
B-grade
attorney.
IP attorney.
So that's
I'm
the
guessing
latest
whoever it was didn't go to Harvard. Is what I'm trying
Shno-ball
to say.
drama. Yeah, I doubt
Yeah.
it.
Freaking Idaho or whatever.
Oh, okay. So it said if I were blah blah blah. Okay, so
It's good. It's good stuff.
Oh,
if I
is
were
that
to
what it said?
prefer to go through you to accomplish this, what would it cost and who would I need to contact? And he put his Gmail address. And then John Cusack said, "Oh, it was John Cusack. It wasn't."
Oh,
So
he
he
is
probably
not a
just
nice
has his own
Yeah.
attorney.
The
On
John
retainer.
Cusack?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jones
Say
Brothers.
anything?
The John Cusack. He
Yeah,
will
from
say
High
just about
Fidelity.
anything. That
And
guy.
High Fidelity? And Hot Tub Time Machine? I'm sorry. I'm always going to use that.
Better
joke.
off dead.
So John said,
Hot Tub
"Roman,
Time
if you
Machine is
need
a
help
good
making
movie.
yours,
Stop it.
you guys need to shut up right now."
Aaron, we
Roman?
can't hear your interruptions when
I
His
know,
robot is
honestly,
making yours.
you're roboting so bad today.
I know you want to interrupt us.
Your jokes
Sorry.
are less funny if
When
it's
you can't hear
possible
them?
to be
True.
like less than 0. Boom, ya burnt. So he said, "Roman, if you need help making yours and it does anything to stiff those guys, I'd love to help you."
Wow.
It's pretty great. Because I
What does
mean,
that
and
mean,
I don't know
stiff
that
those
any
guys?
I don't know that Ernie Ball specifically has ever done anything to John Cusack, but he's a small. Well, he's not that small, but he's like, I'm sure it's it's basically like bullying in the pedal world what Ernie Ball's doing in his mind, I'm sure. And so
Yeah, but like, okay, so I'm glad you brought that up because that's what I was thinking. So like you know how the Green Child, like everybody's like, "Oh, you stole somebody else's enclosure," and other people are like, "No, everyone uses that enclosure. You just showed up because people use it, and it's just that's fine." Well,
Yes.
I have never. Is anyone using the Ernie Ball volume pedal enclosure
I have never
anywhere
seen it.
else?
and nobody's like really making volume pedals either. There's not
It's true.
there's
yeah.
not that many volume pedals out there.
You could
right?
probably list all of the volume pedals that. I mean, not all of them. but
Yeah.
yeah. There's not
Yeah.
really most companies that do it. Like they kind of come out as a volume pedal company.
Yeah, like Bloomery has one. It's maybe there's
the-
just not much margin in it, or
Which is the light one that's like lasers or light or something?
Is that the
Like it
Lele
doesn't have a
one?
string or a cable. It
Well, the
uses
Lele one is
light.
uses
optical.
electromagnetic. It's a magnetic one.
no. There's some wah pedals that are optical too, but I think that's
There's one that uses light that I remember was like people were like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever. The string will never break because there's no string." But then
Yeah, but
people
if
were
you
like,
play
"Yeah, but you
outside."
can't use it at yeah outside. You can't use it. It does not
Yeah.
work."
that's how
You
I had a
can't
Morley.
really. It's not like internalized or something.
No, well,
It sort of is, but
I don't
like
know if the volume pedal is that way, but I had this Morley wah, those enormous ones
Yeah, with
with
big
like the trapezoidal
blocks
footplate.
underneath.
Yes.
And it's that way. It's optical, and it's not fully enclosed. So if you play out in the sun, it messes it up, which is pretty
so
hilarious. Like, that's such a weird. Like, how did they not test that or figure that out? It's pretty great.
That's bizarre.
So there's just enough. Yeah. I'm wondering.
So here's the other side of that argument. It's easy. Like, obviously, if you see a dispute between two companies and one is enormous and one is small, your tendency is to say, well, these guys are just being bullies or patent trolls or something like that. But if he was trying to rebadge an Ernie Ball pedal and sell it as his own, then like, he's pretty clearly in the wrong. I don't know that that's what's happening. And again, just a cease and desist and him taking it off his for sale page is nothing definitive by any means. It's just he's probably just playing it safe for now, and we'll see what happens at NAMM. But I don't know. He's not. It's not like they're being predatory or anything like that. I mean, putting a tuner in a volume pedal is a good idea, but it's not like it's the most unique idea ever, And also, ideas aren't really worth anything. It's being able to actually implement the idea,
Right. And if anyone's going to do it, it makes sense that it's a company that already makes both those things, right? They already have tuners, I'm sure, too.
I mean, it honestly reminds me a lot of the Wazacraft stuff, but Boss didn't then send JHS and Keeley and all those other guys cease and desist for selling their mods. And granted, they weren't trying to rebadge them and remove like the Boss name, which is the big difference, I think. But it is very much like Boss realized, wait a second, these guys are buying our pedals and just making them a little bit better and reselling them. Why don't we just make them a little bit better?
Cut out the middle, man.
If anyone's in a position to do that, it's us, And this is Ernie Ball basically doing the same thing.
Right, and someone, I think it was Chris Brewer, he's like, the danger of doing the mods is that you're basically doing like R&D for the big brands, and then as soon as they figure out this is the mod that everyone's doing that works, then they can just incorporate that into the actual production model, and then like sell it. Like, oh, is that successful? Okay, well, we can do that now.
And unfortunately, like, that's the problem with doing mods. If he was building this from the ground up, and he had patented a bunch of things, then he'd have a leg to stand on. But where he's just buying their stuff and modifying it, he has no recourse to come back and say, hey, well, that was my idea. And it's like, well, great for you, but doesn't mean anything,
Your idea is nothing.
But the idea is literally like taking a magazine and cutting things out of a magazine and gluing them together. That's not...
Yeah, it'd be like if you went to like...
That's the thing, is it's not...
I'm going to go to McDonald's and get a burger and then put a Jack in the Box taco in it and then like sell it as my own thing.
Yeah. It's... Anyways. So, I don't know. Everyone likes to get all up in arms and everything like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if before too long they're both just selling their pedals and nobody even remembers the dispute or whatever.
I assume that he'll probably just have to make some tweaks to it and then start selling it.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, heck, look at like...
Yeah, because if he can find a new enclosure for it, then then there's nothing happening.
But, okay, here's the thing. I was assuming, like one of you said this, that he found whoever makes the enclosure for Ernie Ball and was like, I would like to buy some of those. And they're like, sure. But, like, you can't, if they have, like, a patent on their actual, like, the physical form or whatever it is.
Maybe.
But, like, the cost of creating a different form, that's a whole different deal than, like, but again, hey, I found the supplier, I'm buying it from that guy.
You're putting too much value on a cease and desist. Like, anyone can do that, and maybe it has no legs, and he'll just be back in business soon.
I know, but what I'm saying is, I'm assuming he's using the exact same Ernie Ball volume pedal form, And if he doesn't have that, then he is kind of screwed. He can't like, oh, well, you know what? I'll just take my chances and just sell it anyway or fight
but,
them.
You can't, like, it depends on what you can patent. We should just talk. We should have Clint on next week when we're at NAMM and talk to him about it. But I mean, you can't just say like, oh, I'm patenting the idea of making a laptop that has a screen and a keyboard, and so nobody else can make a laptop. I mean, there's like aspects of it that probably aren't enforceable.
Okay.
I mean, if they're just buying a pedal from a supplier, then anyone else could go to that supplier and buy the same pedal, you know.
Yes. Okay. I see what you're saying. Like, but Boss, why are companies not selling pedals with Boss enclosures?
Probably
Boss
partly they're
makes them
expensive
themselves.
too.
What did you say, Cole?
Boss probably makes them in house.
Yeah.
Ernie Ball might too, and maybe Boss has an exclusive agreement with them, and Ernie Ball does too. And it might not even be a patent issue. It might be that Ernie Ball has an exclusive agreement with the supplier to not sell to anyone else, and then they started selling to someone else, or heck, maybe that supplier got rid of their old machines and some other company bought them, and you know,
yeah.
like there's a
all
million
I'm
different-
saying is and I obviously we're just freaking speculating, but like I'm saying what I'm assuming is that it's an entirely different animal to say I have to invent or I have to pay someone to invent a new enclosure for a volume pedal because I can't use the exact same enclosure.
Yeah, but if he got a hold of that one, he could get a hold of another one that already exists. Like,
But also
the Dunlop one.
when I said I wouldn't be surprised if he's just up and selling his pedals again soon, I'm saying he's selling that exact same pedal. You're the one who's saying he's designing a new one from scratch. I'm not saying he would do that. I'm saying he would just keep doing them exactly how he's doing them already, just because maybe the cease and desist doesn't have any teeth to it, you know.
Oh, see, okay.
Again, anyone can, like, I can sue you right now. I could send you a cease and desist for, you know, your whatever your band is called. I'm sorry, I forgot the name. Barista Nightmare. Boom. Is that what it's called?
Yes. Barista Nightmare. Yes.
Yeah. See, I'm a fan.
Well,
Phil.
I'm gonna sue Aaron for the Tune Screamer. He keeps using it.
You can't do
that. He keeps using the name, and that's my name.
Allow it. You can.
I think any judge would throw that out because it's such a stupid idea.
It's a pretty stupid idea that I had. I will admit it was a dumb idea that I had.
Shut up, Aaron! It's my idea.
So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I do want to get Clint's opinion on it and see like what, because he probably has a good idea of what sort of the potential scenarios are, of what led to this. But again, I think just like when somebody, I mean, it's the same thing. It's not like Creation stopped selling boards when Pedal Train sent them a cease and desist,
right?
Know? Like
although they did make new ones.
Yeah, but again, that's like it shows the varying levels.
Right,
sure. If it was a super strong one and they had a patent on the idea of a pedal board, it could have,
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But just hearing that Shno-ball means somebody with a big nose has sort of swung my opinion.
I love him
drastically in his favor.
Shno-ball tone. That's
and
so
now I'm going
good.
to talk
so
Quentin
great.
into representing him for free, just because of that.
Tell him if he gets each of us a volume pedal tuner, then that's it. That's his payment.
Yes,
dude, I would sell that immediately.
You would sell it?
I wouldn't even open it out of the box. Yeah, I'd pull.
I would use it. I would put it on.
This
is what I would do. I would take it to church and I would put it in front of I would use it for my acoustic guitar.
Oh, perfect.
I'd sell it to someone else and just have them ship it directly to them, so it never even gets to me.
I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great if you're playing just acoustic straight in, because then it's just everything you need. Your tuner and your volume is right there. It's so good.
Yeah, but I already have maybe
instead of taking a 2-part thing.
Add a tube screamer,
but I just have like
and you
a
got
barn
a deal.
door on the side of my guitar that has a tuner and a volume on it.
Oh yeah. See, I have a regular acoustic that I put a preamp.
Oh yeah, your acoustic's made of wood too.
Pick up into. Yeah, it is.
Freaking Dark Ages over here.
Idiot.
Okay,
So
but
here's what I want to do.
Let's
do NAMM predictions, but first let's talk about our sponsors. Unless, Phil,
Okay.
that's really something important that you want to say.
It is really important.
Right.
I want to say I'm going to use my idea with the pedal train tuner in an Ernie Ball enclosure, and I'm going to make millions.
That's legitimately a good idea because all you have to do is
it's actually
out the
better
corner
than
of it.
Yes,
stick it on there.
It's
and
better
you can
than
use
his
the
idea.
Plugs right there.
Yes, and it's better than his idea.
No,
and
it's
also,
perfect.
Phil,
It's a really good. It was a really good joke idea that you had.
That Photoshop was very good too. Like,
Thank you.
It was.
The fact the angles like worked perfectly and everything.
Yes. How did you do that?
I was sitting at lunch, and I had students. They were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Don't worry about it. I'm just like, it's like
shut up.
It's a Photoshop thing." And they're like, "What? But what is that?" And I was like, "It's I'm not going to explain it to you. Listen, just please let me
You're
concentrate."
Too dumb to understand.
You'll understand when you're older. Don't worry. That's hilarious.
It's like
Stupid
I've told you
kids.
before. Don't talk to me on my lunch hour.
Yo, why do you have kids talking to you at lunch?
It was raining. They were all in my room.
What are you
so
doing on your
popular.
computer?
Dude, I did it on my phone.
Your Photoshop skills on your phone are pretty amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, reminder to all the viewers at home: Phil created our Gear Slum logo on his phone.
I've never created anything on a computer, even once. Every single thing that I've ever done has been on my phone.
That's because you have really old computers, so I'm sure the processing power on your phone far exceeds the power of your computers.
Yeah.
It's probably
Phil still has to use punch cards with his computer. He has to load in a special punch card when we record this podcast.
He can only print using a dot matrix printer because his
And he has to
computer's
go
so
in
old.
and clear out all the bugs, from the vacuum tubes and stuff.
Yeah, there's like
Actual literal bugs.
Yeah.
I have a
Insects.
big wall of metal cabinets with reels spinning.
Yeah, exactly. like in the hatch on Lost,
Yeah.
Wait, there's a hatch? Spoiler alert.
Jeez.
I didn't know there was a hatch. I don't even need to watch it anymore.
Yeah, Richard Hatch is on there, the guy from Survivor.
Oh, dude, Hatch Chilies? So good.
So, Aaron, what were you
Sponsors.
talking about? Our
I
sponsors?
want to talk about our sponsors. We have 3 of them today. Today we have 3. Normally we have the same 3. We're nothing if not loyal. So Sinusoid Pro Audio Couture, they make the best ropes for your guitar around. Check them out. One thing that's cool that they make is what is it called? What's the big one? The Sasquatch? Their speaker
yes.
cable. It's like super bulky, beefy, really nice, thick, stiff
Girthy.
rope. Yes, it's girthy.
So girthy.
That thing is a beast.
So girthy, guy.
Everyone talks about their like guitar cables, and they do make really nice guitar cables, but they also do like auxiliary cables that you might need, and like if you need something for your in-ear monitors, or if you need speaker cable or IEC cable, they have all that stuff. So there's no need to settle for anything. Get all of it from Sinusoid. Have the best. Be the best. 100-year warranty on everything. Beautiful. Who's our second sponsor?
So that could be a lifetime warranty
Oh.
if you buy it when you're very young and live for a very long time.
Yes, it's probably longer than your life.
It's multiple lifetime warranties, likely.
Yeah. If you're like in your 40s, you could probably buy that.
If
And
you
then
live in
keep it
like
to
a
someone
really
else.
dangerous third world country, that's like a 3 lifetime warranty.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're old enough and you give it to someone right before you die and they're old enough, you could give, like 3 people could die before that warranty, and 3 owners could die before the warranty dies.
I mean, heck,
Wow.
they could be like a car crash.
Yeah,
Wow.
could be.
Like a train crash, and you keep giving it to the person in the car behind you.
Yes. It's a really slow train crash.
At any rate, when you think of Sinusoid, we want you to think of terrible tragedies where people die.
Yeah, dude.
And third world countries where the life expectancy is not as long as it is in first world.
And
countries.
yet, the cables live on.
Exactly.
Yeah. When you think about
You
the
heard it
fact that
here.
you're probably going to die
Sinusoid
in your 70s or
promises that your
80s,
cables will survive a
and you
train
feel sad about
crash.
that, don't feel sad because other people die in their 40s and 50s on the reg.
Yeah, like who are you to feel sad?
Psh, get out of here with that. This episode is also sponsored by the Gabriel Tenorio String Company. I recently purchased with my own money, with my own Patreon money, with your own money, viewer, some Gabriel Tenorio all nickel strings for my
nickel.
straight toe caster. I got the Super 10s because I usually I have 11s on my Telly, I have 12s with a wound G on my Jazzmaster.
Super thin.
So with the Super 10s, which are kind of like if you know Ernie Ball, they have their like heavy bottom, light top, whatever.
Yeah.
It's similar to that where
Super tens.
it's like a hybrid set where the top strings are lighter and which one's the top again?
Dude, this feels super tense right now.
Super tens.
The strings? Which what? Super tense. Which strings are the top strings and which ones are the bottom strings again?
The top are the high pitch ones.
Okay, yeah.
The
so
top are the
strings
ones that are furthest from the center
light top,
of
heavy
the earth.
bottom.
So it's like if you're holding your guitar upside down, then it's like that.
It's like when you're in like a rock star pose.
So it's like if you took Jimi Hendrix's guitar and then played it normal.
So it's like if you're holding your guitar and then you like flip it up so that you can see the face of it.
Just flip it up.
Then
No,
it's
if you're
top
like
to
holding
bottom.
your guitar and you're
Just
in
flip it up
mid
and tuck
guitar
it in.
spin, that's what it's like.
Oh,
Yeah,
like when it's
like
at
a
zero.
ZZ Top, like
Zero
a ZZ
gravity.
Top when it's halfway around, you know.
No. When the
Buckle
strap is
spinner.
going around your body.
The ZZ Top just like spins, right? Like on the
Yeah.
waistband or something.
They've got
That's what I'm
some
saying.
weird.
So they get 180 degrees around, and that's
Can you
when
buy
it-
those?
ZZ
No,
Top?
but you
Yeah,
could
they sell
probably
records pretty much everywhere.
Actually, there was this YouTuber who was making those, but he got
Really?
a cease and desist from ZZ Top. So
He got a ZZ Stop.
he got a Z's and desist.
Z's
No,
and
yours
desist.
is better. Dang it.
No, I like Z's and desist better. I want to vote. I prefer Z's and desist.
Got a ZZ stop.
They're both good. I think they're both equally
Guys,
good.
we try to deliver a podcast that's informative and entertaining, and I feel like we're accomplishing that.
I feel like this is about as informative as me podcast normally is.
Are you going back to the pirate topic that we were talking about earlier? Moor.
It's
That's how
about
you
as
have to
informative
say-
as us podcast.
That's how you have to say moor from now on. It's not mua, it's moor.
More.
We are. I've got me moor. So, Gabriel Tenorio also announced that they have a 100-year warranty on all their strings. So,
I'm sure that's not true. Nobody jump on and try and do that.
Hey, by the way, if you sign up for our street crew, if you become a patron of us, you get 10% off Sinusoid products with a special code that we
Okay.
will give to you.
Tell us the code.
and you get 15% off Gun Street stuff.
15% off our next sponsor, which is Gun Street Wiring Shop.
Oh, sorry, I
Tell us
spoiled
the
our
code,
sponsor.
Aaron.
What?
Give me the code.
The code,
Oh.
the password is
Oh, okay, I got it. Okay, good.
Gun Street Wiring Shop does
That's a good password. No one's ever going to guess it.
Gun Street Wiring Shop can solve all your wiring needs. If you have like faulty wiring or like you got
I
an
wouldn't
old,
go that
let's
far. If you
all
have
your
like
guitar-
bad wiring in your house,
say, they could solve it.
They
bro.
will solve it. They
you have a
will
dirty,
solve
You
it.
got dirty ground in your house. We'll solve that shiz.
Dirty ground? Is that? Should I look that up
Dirty
on?
ground.
Is
Should
it
I
all
look that up
ground
on Urban
dirty?
Dictionary?
That's why it's called
Dirty
the
ground.
ground. Isn't it weird how in like the UK they instead of ground they say earth?
Yeah,
that weird?
but that's what it is. Like in a building, the ground is just like it's a big rod that's shoved into the earth.
Isn't it weird that in
it
the
literally
UK
goes
that
to
they
Earth.
say pounds when they mean dollars? Isn't that weird? Like pound. That's so confusing. Pounds are
That's actually more true
measurement.
now than ever. Remember when the pound used to be like $1.50? Stupid England.
Morons. You guys suck.
Yeah.
What I meant to say is they can solve all your guitar wiring needs, internal.
Oh.
So if you have, let's say you find like an old guitar and it's beautiful, but it doesn't work anymore because all the wiring is jacked up and corroded. They can make new wiring for you and fix it. If you want to try out, like, if you have a standard telly with 3-way switch and you want to try like a 4 or 5-way switch, they can do that for you. If you have like pickups,
what about
to,
6
like,
ways?
Splitting coil splits and like blending and all those funky things, they can do that for you.
They probably can't do a coil tap, but that's a different story.
Yes, that would.
Should I look that up on an
your
Urban
pickup
Dictionary?
Wirer. That's all about the pickup. So hit them up. Hit up Sean Arbo at Gun Street Wiring Shop. He can do that. We're looking forward to seeing all those guys today or tomorrow or Saturday at NAMM. Sinusoid.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Soid
What do you
boys.
guys? So here's what I was thinking about NAMM. Partially, I was thinking like, there's not that much stuff that I would be that excited about, but that's because I'm not very creative. What's something that would make you super excited? Because there's sometimes things that we get excited about, but then we don't actually. Like the rat tail is a cool idea, but none of us are actually going to use one in real life. You know,
That's true.
I would use one if I didn't have to pay for it.
Right. If somebody gave it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Proco, are you listening?
Hello.
But I think
Is there anybody out
what
there?
would make you really excited? So like the Volante, right? That's Strymon built up this pedal, it had all this.
Yeah, they built a brand new phaser
The new Strymon phaser.
out of nowhere. Yes, a phaser.
And like, is it that exciting?
I think it's cool,
I mean, what they've done, like,
but I'm not like excited about it.
yeah. And maybe
yeah.
that's just because we're old and boring or something like that. But what's the last thing? I mean, the HX Stomp I think was really exciting, and that had a ton of buzz around it.
I wasn't excited about it.
I thought it was
that's
cool,
because you're old and boring.
but I wasn't excited about it.
But it
Yeah, I know what
filled
you're
a
saying.
very specific need in the market that wasn't being filled. Of like, I want this
Yes.
multi-effects that's small and has a bunch of cab and amp sim and blah blah blah. But like, can you imagine a drive pedal that would be announced at NAMM that would be exciting? I don't know. Am I just being
drive pedal?
Am I just
I
being
mean, I think
lame?
all drive pedals are exciting, but to answer your question, probably
Well, the Brothers 2 years ago was kind of cool. I mean, exciting.
But that's a great example because there was so much buzz around that. But how often do you see those on boards?
It's quite a bit.
Yeah, I feel well.
Well, maybe you guys should both shut up then.
I feel like that pedal is probably one of the most seen Chase Bliss pedals that I see.
I'm sure Aaron is saying very intelligent things.
I am.
It's probably.
You guys,
You sure that pedal is probably what, Aaron?
probably one of the Chase Bliss pedals that I see the most. Like, I would say it's like the third most popular based on my
After
straw
the
poll.
Tonal Recall and the
Tonal Recall, Warped Vinyl, I think, are still the top two. I think,
Yeah.
well, obviously, you see the Reverb now, but because it didn't exist before.
you never see the Wombo Tone.
You do never see the Wombo Tone, the Wombatone, the Wombat one,
I guess.
By the way, the Wombatone phaser is amazing.
it was so amazing that Aaron sold it immediately.
I regret
after.
selling it. The only reason I
he's
sold
so
it,
amazing. He
the
played it
only
once
reason-
and sold
Let me
it.
tell you, the only reason I sold it is because I got the Solid Gold Apollo 2, and I did not need two phasers.
And one of them could net you more than $300. So
Yes, and I got it, and I won it in a raffle for $20. Mm-hmm. It's true. It's true what your parents tell you. If you don't work for it, you don't appreciate it.
yeah, it doesn't have as much value. I'm sure
Right.
the second
Gifts.
part of that was something along the lines of it doesn't have as much value.
Yes, it was exactly that.
This is gonna sound. It's gonna sound even dumber to people listening because they're not gonna.
Because he's gonna
roboting.
sound fine, but
Aaron is roboting at an astronomical level right now.
That's right, people. I'm a star.
So
here is my NAMM predictions.
Yes, let's do NAMM predictions instead.
Here's my NAMM
'Cause I'm not
prediction.
excited
My
about
NAMM prediction. What?
No, go ahead.
My NAMM prediction is that I will collect a whole lot of stickers, some guitar picks, 1 or 2 shirts. I will talk with a lot of mid-level-y famous people and absolutely 0 actually famous people. And I'll have a super good time with my friends. That's my NAMM prediction.
That prediction sucks.
boring.
That prediction.
I'm sorry.
Utter garbage.
That's what my crystal ball is telling me. What?
I think we're gonna see a lot more. Like, did you guys see that orange pedal baby amp?
Yep.
No. What's that?
It's this little solid state amp that looks like it could be rack mount. You know, it looks like an old bass head where it's just like it looks like it could be rack mounted. It's just really short and flat. You know.
Okay.
And they advertise it as being like, hey, this will work with your amp and cab sims, and it's really neutral and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot more stuff that pitches itself as that, as like use this along with your Helix or your Headrush or whatever, because I think those are that represents a huge part of the market now. I think, and people are constantly posting, what FR speakers should I get? Which again, just get a speaker, you doofuses.
That's true. But really, you should get the Line 6 cab simulator one.
Exactly.
Only because
But
it
yeah.
looks like a guitar cabinet, and I think that's good.
So I think because there's been this resurgence of Class AB solid state amps, and so I think there will be a bunch of from amp manufacturers of making these little solid state power amp type things.
I could see that. I'm surprised Fender hasn't done something like that.
It's
Although
kind of crazy. I wonder if, I don't know. They put out the Blues, whatever. What's that one called? The Bass Breaker.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if they do so well with their reissue amps that maybe they don't.
Well, they
care.
keep revamping the Champ series and all their modeling stuff, but they don't. I'm surprised they don't just have a very simple head, or just you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without the modeling, just I don't know, the pedal baby.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like they would be in a position because they were making solid state amps in the 80s that probably would work well for, that type of application. So
it's weird.
So yeah, maybe that's I wouldn't be surprised if Fender came out with something like that at NAMM.
Yeah.
There's a ton of people going that way. It used to be, everyone was asking about how can I buy a more expensive AC-15 that just doesn't say Vox on it, or the same with the Deluxe Reverb or whatever. And now it's how can I, what amp is a good match for my Helix, And I think that's not just in the P-Dub scene.
I would say it's maybe even more so outside, because I feel there's maybe a lot of people in there that are still super traditionalists, whereas in the actual music world at large is probably less true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree with that.
My prediction is that I will get more stickers than Phil.
Oh man! And then you're just gonna light them on fire.
I am. I'm gonna burn them.
I'm gonna pin them all to my jacket.
I watched this movie yesterday called Minimalism, and now I want to throw everything away and get rid of everything. I'm how can I have a 3-pedal setup only?
Dude,
that's minimalism.
That's my rig.
But I don't want to
SD one.
Uh-huh.
The Pelotar, yeah.
I could live with the wave cannon, a delay, and a reverb, and I would be fine. Like one
A
drive,
delay.
one delay, one reverb.
One.
Dude, I could live
one
with
delay.
just like the HX Stomp and a few other pedals. That's how simple I am.
I could live with just like
Just this one $600 pedal.
one Helix, one Scotch, and one beer.
I could live with the Brothers and Mobius and a Voltaire.
Voltaire.
Oh, okay.
Voltaire.
And maybe and a Big Sky and be totally fine.
I could live with like one of each guitar that exists.
In
Like,
every
and
color.
and like not even worry about versatility at that point.
Yeah, I
Just
could
have what it is
all-
and be fine.
I could live with a Fender Bassman and an Orange something or other and a Marshall something or other and then be fine.
If I just had like 10 amps and like 40 pedals, I think I could probably survive with that.
Yeah.
I could probably do everything I want to do with just that. No big deal.
Yeah.
That's very big of you guys.
Well, that's me, Mr. Big.
Oh, that's you?
That's me.
Is that the nickname that you go by? That
You're
people-
Mr. Big?
Hey everybody,
Remember
my
that
nickname is
remember that
Mr.
band,
Big.
Mr. Big. That was me.
That was you? That band was you?
Yes. And also,
So that means
remember,
That means you have that amazing Les Paul that's like the most famous one in the world. Wasn't that
Yeah.
guy in Mr. Big? The guy that owns the
Paul
Beast?
Paul Gilbert. Was that the guy you're thinking of?
No.
Oh,
Oh, he was in Mr. Big.
was he?
Yeah,
I don't
Bernie
know.
Marsden is the guy I was thinking of,
Oh.
and he was in some other band. But it was also just like a dumb 80s band.
It was. I don't know what it was, but anyway, remember in Sex and the City that guy, Mr. Big. That was me.
Yeah.
too.
You were
That's
in
also
that.
me.
You were in Sex and the City.
Yes.
I do not remember that because I haven't seen that show.
Sex
Oh, he was
and
in
the
White
City.
Snake.
Sex
Marsden
and
was.
the City.
Bernie Marsden.
Bernie Marsden.
Hey, I'm Bernie Marsden.
Whatever.
Bernie
Marsden. So you know how like Australian people, when they say Melbourne, they say Melbourne.
Melbourne. Okay.
Well, I was at a restaurant the other day, like a small local restaurant, and the owner, his wife is from Australia, and he's from America though, and he was talking about that city, and he kept saying Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude, stop saying Melbourne. You sound like a moron.
Yeah. It's like when somebody with our generic,
Melbourne.
like, Western United States accent says, like, Nollins. Like,
Yeah.
hey, guys, I'm flying down to Nollins next week. Like, where?
And then they argue, but that's how they say it.
Yeah, Louisville.
Yeah,
I'm going
and
to
it's like-
Louisville.
It's like, yes, I'd like a tortilla.
But
An
it's like
enchilada.
it's weird.
But I think the point is to say it with all the sounds, but without the accent, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So-
No.
Is
It'd be like
tortilla already? Are we
tortilla.
already doing that?
tortilla.
Yeah, like, I
Yeah,
get what
we
you're
kind of
saying.
are.
Like, we're not saying tortilla, and we're also not
Right.
saying tortilla.
Yeah.
But that's
you're
not, but that's how the
saying
word
say
is actually pronounced. It's not like.
Yeah.
I see.
Melbourne-
Yes, that's a good point.
But saying Melbourne is like it's like Google translating and then Google translating back and it being like a different word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's this this British dude I knew, and we were talking about accents, and he goes, American accents, it just sounds so horrible. You clearly pronounce so many words wrong. And I go, okay, give me an example. And he goes, well, like the way you say HOT. And I go, hot? And he goes, yeah, exactly. And I go, how do you say it? And he goes, hot. And I was like, you freaking idiot. Like, that's not even, I don't even know what your argument is right now. Hot.
I remember
You say that
remember
Hot.
they
Your
were
argument is
talking-
hot.
they were talking on Guitar Nerds, and I think I've brought this up on the show before, but they were talking about why can't I think of the Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce,
Oh yeah.
and their tagline is "The sauce is boss," and they were like, apparently in the U.S. that rhymes.
Souse.
They're like the sauce is bose, the souse is bouse.
Wait, how do they?
They couldn't figure out how that could rhyme. And it's like
How did
sauce is boss or something. I don't know.
they say boss,
We'll
but they
get-
say sauce?
We'll
Is
get
that
J Cross on the because it's like AU versus O,
Yeah.
so like it makes sense that it would be a different sound.
Because they say like sauce.
Yes, yeah,
sauce
right.
And boss. Sauce.
But do they
like,
but do they say boss?
pronunciation? Like you have to. I don't think
The
anyone
sauce is
could
boss.
disagree that American pronunciation is simpler. I think
Yes.
maybe that's just because it's simpler to me, but in my mind,
Because it's real,
It's like-
and everything else is like fake.
Yeah.
there's like a lot more.
You freaking
subtlety
phonies.
to
The
how,
British pronunciation
like,
is
they
fake.
have
They invented it to sound cool.
Yes.
Well, it is true that like American English is closer to how
Yeah.
it used to be than
You guys,
British
I've been
English.
watching a lot of Crown with my wife lately, and it's clear that
Talking like Crayolas.
it's clear that over on that side of the pond they've got some backwards thinking and some old ways of doing
Here's a
things.
question.
That just
How come people who pronounce crayon crown don't say crowla?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Like they know how they
Like,
know how
that's
to
what's
make
crazy
the sound.
is like how
ayo.
how can you argue that pronouncing all the letters in a word is the wrong way to pronounce it? And granted, there's some like bot, like
Or
you're not
like
saying a
colonel.
to
Colonel is, you don't say colonel.
colonel.
Or lieutenant. I guess lieutenant
Colonel.
you do.
I say colonel, so it sounds like colonic, you know?
Yeah.
Colonel.
Colonel.
okay. I believe there's like is it 3 or there might even be 4 different ways
Does
to
it say
say
colonel?
it. No,
Crayon? Yeah, some people
Crayon.
say cran.
crayon,
Yeah, some people just say cran.
Some people
like
say
cranberry,
crown.
Yes.
And some say crown.
crown. Freaking. Oh,
Some people say
makes me so
colors. Give me that color.
What?
Yeah. Some people say in Britain they call them waxies. They say, "Hey, can you hand me them bloody waxies over there?" They don't really, but doesn't that sound like the type of thing they would call it? Waxies?
It does, and I'm glad we let that sit for like a solid 5 seconds because any British listener is like, "What the hell is he talking
What
about?"
is he talking about?
Yo, waxy.
Fancy a waxy.
Fancy a waxy. Bodge up some of them waxies for me,
Or whatever.
He
Whatever.
did a pure waxy hatchy.
Oi,
guys.
oi,
Oh,
Step-
you got any of them waxies?
oi! Step in the loo and hand me one of them waxies.
Whoa.
I don't know why you'd keep them in the loo.
Different. That's an Urban Dictionary waxy thing, I think.
In the boot.
Hand me some of them Shno-balls, if you know what I'm saying.
Alexa, what is waxy?
So, guys, thanks for
A dirty
for
waxy.
friendship. Okay,
Thanks for
this,
friendship.
the reason I have to go now is because there's
Fancy a dirty
Pokemon-
waxy.
I'm getting ready to drive 20 minutes to a Pokemon EX
Are you picking up the
raid,
widow?
and there's like 2 people that will listen to this and be like, "Oh yeah, of course, that makes sense why that is so important," and everyone else probably thinks I'm a huge loser, which I am, but it's just how it goes.
Eres
You
un
know?
perdedor.
Yes, I'm a loser. So why don't you kill me?
Thanks for friendship.
That's
I'm
kind of a
waxy,
depressing
and I know
scene.
it. Soy, open the door.
But it's less
I'm a loser, baby.
present because he says, I'm a loser, baby.
Ah, so it's kind of like
Yeah.
playful.
It's like a baby that's a loser, like killing the baby loser.
Maybe it's just like an extreme S&M thing. It's
Oh,
like,
I'm a loser,
some
baby.
people would be like, "Why don't you whip me?" And he's like, "Why
Yeah,
don't
it's
you
not
kill me?"
loser,
It's like,
comma,
ooh, that's
baby.
not
It's
really-
just, I'm a loser,
That's
baby.
not a.
I'm a loser, baby. Oh,
It's not like a sustainable S&M model. I don't.
Or maybe
think.
he's saying,
You
maybe
just
I
kill
get
someone.
it. He's saying, I'm going to lose your baby.
I'm a loser.
I'm a loser, baby.
I'm a loser,
apostrophe M-A. I'm a lose your baby.
So why don't you kill me?
I'm a loser, baby.
It makes sense. Like, you would be very angry if someone lost
Yeah,
your baby.
it's like, yeah,
You would probably want to kill them.
dude,
It all makes sense.
Aaron, that's the single most intelligent thing you've ever said on this
It's
podcast.
true.
Or in
It's
life,
about as
probably.
informative as my podcast normally is.
as us
As
usually
us
is.
podcast usually are.
As you podcast.
I gotta go now.
Okay.
Thanks for
friendship.
Thanks for friendship.